Welcome everybody to Mind to Wealth show with Ali Shahraki, and today we have a special guest, Adrianne Carter. Well, she's one of our head coaches here. She's helping our student as well in our course, trading course. So we are delighted to have her here. Also, she's part of Mind to Wealth. We'll be working together, and we're gonna be running monthly, hopefully training for everybody, and we're gonna be talking about it very soon. But today we're gonna be talking about resilience. And also we have my wife, Kuldeep Shahraki. Today is our anniversary, so I really love all of you being here. Both of us sitting here on our anniversary doing this show. That shows our resilience, isn't it? Right? Like keep doing it. We simply could just say no. Today is the anniversary. We are not gonna do this. But you know what? Is us both of us in this show, so let's do it. Why not? Adrianne, tell us about today and what do you think of resilience. Shall we introduce you, because I think everybody knows you, but let's give an introduction to Adrianne. Who's Adrianne and what do you do, Adrianne?
So I am Adrianne Carter, also known as the Face Whisperer. So I work with global brands and small businesses and training to help people make the most of their communications and the optimal mindset, actually, to bring them success. So that's why we work together. And
boom,
I love
that's the heat in the house, 100 degree.
I love these sessions because you think we'll start talking about resilience and you think, how will we fill the time with that? But actually we never struggle, do we? We've always got something to say.
Well, the thing is, we work very good together, because both of us, we are thinking the same direction, and we literally like parallel. We move in parallel to each other, and I feel like, we complete each other, really, so that's awesome. So for that, let's cool down the room with some snowfall. Can you see my snowfall?
Oh, I wish you could send some real snow this way, because I'm really hot.
It's really hot. So Adrianne, tell us about today, resilient.
So the topic was inspired by your post on Facebook about your wedding anniversary today, 22 years. That's no mean feat. So happy anniversary to you both. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done to Kuldeep. Well done to you, Ali. Both of you, well done. Resilience is all about, I got the actual definition.
Trust me, not easy, 22 years.
So the resilience is the capacity to recover.
No, I am very hard to deal with. I'm very hard.
He's not a very easy person to live with.
No,
I know.
Very difficult.
I know. He's very focused, and that actually can be quite hard to live with someone who is very focused and very determined. It's great in some ways, but it can be difficult for other people.
It's draining. It's very draining for other people, because I know exactly what I want and I get it, and all I need is other people to just just follow it.
It's just his way.
Yeah. The problem is when I face people who they don't know what they want in their life, then I tend to take charge, because if they don't know what they want, if I don't know what I want, where are we going?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not going to go anywhere. Someone needs to take charge, isn't it?
Yeah. So resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties or toughness. And to have 22 years of marriage, you need a bit of toughness, and you need to be able to recover quickly. Same in business, same with your mindset.
I feel like a cockroach now.
I was gonna say you look like one.
Did you hear what she said? I look like cockroach now.
Is that the end of 22 years?
Kuldeep, you look amazing.
I know. I'm the one lost all my.
You should have let him get to you. Then you say
He doesn't. So 22 years of marriage, you've overcome some difficulties. You've had tough times. You've had good times. And it's about how you bounce back. And you've got two choices. Over those 22 years, you can keep going, or you can give up. That is the choice. And that's the same with our daily lives. You can keep going. If something doesn't work out how you wanted it to, okay, we'll do something else. And you can keep going that way. Or you can just go, nothing works for me. I can't do it. I'm just going to give up. There's no point me even trying. I'll just give in.
That's a really good point you just mentioned. But can I ask one question? What if you're looking at the way you are going and what you are doing, and you realize you are going the wrong direction? Do you think is brave enough to say, you know what, accept the responsibility, say, you know what, I went to the wrong way. I'm willing to reverse back.
Yeah,
and then start a different way. That's kind of resilient as well, isn't it?
absolutely.
Not just keep doing it. Because if you are doing the wrong thing and keep doing it, you're gonna keep getting the wrong result, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's part of like adapting. You know, if something isn't working out how you thought it would, it's not a failure. You've just learned something that wasn't what you thought. So try something else. You know, we can be stubborn and keep going with the wrong thing. That's not resilience.
That's not
stupidity.
resilient. No, that's stupidity. Yeah.
That's stupidity. But keeping going when you think, actually, this is really good and I just need to be patient, that's resilience. Or adapting, you know, changing what you're doing. Doesn't matter if, you know, one of my businesses that I've been working on, I'm not as passionate as I was when I first started it 6 months, a year ago. And I just think, you know, what could I can keep going with it, but it's not working out.
Yeah, same as marriage, isn't it? Like, you know, same exactly in relationship, not just marriage, even business, right?
Yes,
You fall in love with something, right?
Yeah.
So even in marriage, do you think is resilient to stay in a marriage which you don't feel happy, you feel stressed, you feel being controlled, you feel like is not what you are looking for in that marriage is not there? That's not resilient, isn't it? Just stay there because you got married one day. That's just to me stupidity. You know, I think in that situation, you try to fix the situation, but if you can't fix it, you have a conversation. But if you can't fix it, it's time to get out, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I don't see that as a failure. I don't see that as a failure. Many people stay in marriages and business and working life for a long, long, long time just because they don't want to be seen as a failure.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
To me, that is actually failure.
Yes.
What people are gonna say.
It doesn't matter what people say.
No, I'm just saying people like Andrew was saying, people just stay in because of maybe, like, for example, what other people are gonna say.
You can't believe this, Adrianne. You know, I shouldn't. Probably I shouldn't be saying this live today. One question I asked Kuldeep. I said, I've got a form for divorce on the page. Would you like to divorce me? Am I still a person do you still love me? Because simply I just fill in the form in and we let go of it. That's it, finished. But am I the same person you want to continue? Because, you know, I'm a very difficult person to live in because I've got dream, I've got goals, I know exactly where I'm going. I'm determined. Until 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting reading book, doing all this stuff. It's very hard to deal with somebody like this because I know exactly what I want. But then now I start to get to the point where I'm slowing down. You know, I can, you know, enjoy my life, enjoy my time. But some people wake up in the morning, they don't have no dream, they have no goals. They literally just hanging around until it's nighttime. That kills me. I can't see somebody just, you know, not pursuing something, you know. So
I was talking to we covered this in our group session with the trainees a few weeks ago about focusing on what you want. Most people don't have the focus on what they want. So I was talking to someone today who's going through a really tough time, actually. And the person said, well, I don't want this and I don't want that. And I don't want my life to be like this anymore. And I said, why don't you flip that to, I want my life to be? Because at the moment, and she is going through a crap time, but why don't you change that focus to what you want? Because yes, the current reality is it's tough. That is the current reality. But it doesn't have to be your vision of your future.
He doesn't know. That's what Jim Rohn says, isn't it? He says your next 6 years doesn't have to look like your last 6 years. All you need is just one decision. You are not there to keep flying same as how your mom and dad did. You know, so you can change it. But the question is here: what takes to be able to make that decision?
And I think this is where resilience comes in. The strength of purpose. If you've got a really good why you're doing what you're doing, the strength of purpose should keep you going if it's the right purpose.
Right purpose. Right direction.
The right purpose, the right direction, and you really believe in what you're doing. Because sometimes, you know, we don't get instant results. There is no overnight success.
No, it's not. No.
There's hard work, there's a lot of effort, and there's time. People think they see someone, you know, a bit like you, really. You've worked really hard for many, many years.
Really hard. Really, it's really draining on me as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to give up so much for him to be like this.
And trust me, I don't even tell her 90% of the stress I'm going through because I know she's gonna get stressed.
I don't like stress.
So I keep everything to myself. I'm dealing with today, God knows how much things I had to deal with today. I didn't even tell her.
No.
You know, that money was this, you know, this account was this, you know, so much things going on. Because I know no point sitting and explaining about the trading with her because she's just gonna think, what? It's not her expertise. What's the point of me sitting and explaining that to her? You know?
I've got a few jobs for him to do around the house and so on.
Yeah. But
On the middle of all this stress, she asked me to go and apply for passport. Go and I don't know, sort out these papers. Okay, let me just.
But you've got a really good reason why you're doing what you're doing, Ali, and that's
because I know exactly what I want. You know.
Yeah, and Kuldeep is part of that. You know, she
Yeah.
can see your vision, so she puts up with the tough times because she's willing to support your purpose, and you've got a really clear purpose. Most people don't have a clear purpose. They don't.
Have you noticed when you ask people what do you want?
Yeah,
99%. You know, this is
they're scared. I think because they're scared, aren't they? I think
Could
it's a
be.
fear. It's a fear.
look day before
fear
yesterday.
Of unknown, a fear of unknown.
Fear of unknown. Exactly.
Yeah.
Day before yesterday, I said to her, Kuldeep, can you tell me what color do you like? Because is it, you know, I really want to know what color do you like.
I actually do like blue.
You know, so now look,
That's
first time in 22 years, I know what she wants.
I brought this blue top because I like.
So it's not an easy question. It's not an easy question. For the last 16 years, I've been asking this question: what do you want? What food do you like? Don't just eat the food because I like it. What food do you like?
Yeah.
You know, I want to order what you like.
When I don't like it, I tell you, Alex. When I don't like it, I'll
Did you hear that? Exactly what you said. When I don't like it, I tell you.
Yeah. And
what did I ask? What do you like?
What do you like? Yeah, as we're conditioned. You know, when my kids were younger, I used to shout, "What does everyone want for dinner tonight?" And I'd get a list of, "I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this." That wasn't
like that.
But what do you want? I keep telling her, look, be straightforward with me. Just tell me what you want. And you know the reason why this is happening, Adrianne? I was watching this video. I shared it 6 years ago on Facebook. Not even one person liked it because it's speaking the truth, right? And same as my videos. Like most people, they don't even like my stuff because we speak the truth, right? And today I shared that video again, and only 3 people liked it.
Yeah.
Right. If I go and share something funny or like I do all this stuff, hundreds of people they're gonna like it. Yeah. Because most people they like to be entertained that way, not be told the truth, right? That video it says something. That video says something. It says by the time you leave a school, you've been told over 280,000 times, sit down, don't move, you can't do this. No, don't do it. Don't leave it. No, you can't do this. But only 4,000 times you've been said yes, you passed it. You got it. You can't do this.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
so we've been conditioned to focus on what we don't want.
Is it Prince something?
Yeah.
No, it's on Facebook. If you go and have a look now, it's about 2 or 3 posts.
So I was talking with a potential private client today, referred from somebody else, and said, "Would I have a chat?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Always have a free initial chat." And I said to this person, I said, "You know, the work I do with your mind, everyone wants an instant solution. There is no instant solution. There's determination.
It's a process. Success. I've been through this path, right? This is why, you know, when people said to me, you know, what can you do for me? I said, I can teach you how to become successful. Why? Yeah. Because I've been through the path. I've been from the beginning of it, not having anything, to the point where I can literally retire, right? So I've been through the path. I know exactly all the path, but it's a path, it's a journey. It's not like you sleep tonight, you wake up tomorrow morning. And you've been watching my journey.
Yeah,
you've been my friend since I had nothing. I had lots of debt while I was going through all this learning, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And which guy?
The guy, Alex.
No, never mind. I don't want to mention people's names and so I don't know who you're talking about. Yeah.
So I said to him, you know, I will work with you and happy to work with you. This is my prices. But it will be challenging at times. And I'm going to challenge you because that's the only way to get to the truth of what you really want.
But that's the point where you're going to start to become successful, when you can face the truth instead of running away from it. Until you are running away from the problem is not going to get solved. You know, the day I started to go forward was the day when I took responsibility and I said, you know what? I need to do something about this.
Yeah.
And you know, everybody said to me, Ali, how did you do this? I've got coach. I had coach for the last 10, 11 years. I've been having coach. It's impossible to find a way by yourself alone.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Mind to Wealth is. You know, this Mind to Wealth, Adrianne, you know, this Mind to Wealth was part of our trading course. But I decided, because it's so expensive to join on that one, maybe, I decided, look, let me separate the psychology part of it, bring it out, This is Mind to Wealth, how I've done from this point to this point. Adrianne knows my journey. She's done the same journey. She knows exactly what she has to do. She's been doing so much training, so much self-development. You know, we are here to help people.
It doesn't stop. You know, I've got a coach now. I've had a coach for the last 5-6 years.
I've got coach. Still, I've got coach.
Me too.
My coach has a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. If people think, oh, it's an expense that I just don't need to have, actually, it's a really stupid thing to do. Because
that is the life expense. You know, when you have a business and you have a cost of a business, this is the cost of living.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't see your own stuff. You get in your own way so much that having a coach...
It's the same as driving, isn't it? You know, we have this, you know, I used to be a driving instructor, you know, so people sit next to you. What do they say first to you? I'm a best driver. I know how to drive. I know everything. Yeah. Don't they say that? Yeah. And then as soon as you drive with them, you sit next to them, you watch the drive. Oh my God, you are nowhere near to be ready for your test. And then what do they think? They think, oh, this instructor, he's negative. He don't want me to pass my test.
No.
Actually, he wants you to pass your test. But you got to fix all his problems, all his bad habits.
And it's the same with communication. Everyone thinks they're a good communicator. Bits like everyone thinks they're a good driver. Most people aren't good drivers and most people aren't good communicators, particularly with themselves, because they don't know what's really going on in their mind chatter. And until you uncover the stuff that your beliefs, until you uncover that sort of stuff, it's hard to move forward. Personal development is the absolute key to success in whatever career you're in. If you don't get that personal development underway and you just think, well, I'm just going to go at it, you'll come unstuck at some point. You might have a measure of success, but you will come unstuck at some point. So laying the foundations of your psychology and your brain and understanding how you work, because one of the things that we talk about in the group is it's about success for you. What will be success for you is different for me.
Yeah. Everyone's different.
But getting to the optimal success for an individual, that's really important. Really important. Development is absolutely key along that journey. And not when it gets tough. Not giving up that personal development because, I don't really...
That's actually the time you need it.
Absolutely.
You know, it got to the point she knows. She was nagging at me, said, why are you paying for a coach when we can't afford to pay for a food, you know? And you said we have so much debt. But I said, look, I can cancel the food, but I can't cancel my coach. Because if I cancel that coach, that's where I'm going to start going back. Yeah. I need that push. I need somebody behind me to keep pushing me. Grant Cardone, I don't know if you know him or no, you know, he's an American billionaire. I was on a stage with him so many times in Clubhouse, you know, as a speaker. So I asked him one question. I said to him, Grant, what do you think of self-development? He said, why do you think rich people kill themselves? I said, I don't know, because they don't fulfill their destiny or something. He said, because you actually don't want money. No. Nobody wants actually money. Everybody wants to be happy. But they feel like if they have money, they're going to be more happier because they can do more things to be happy. But there is a problem here.
Yeah, big problem.
The big problem is they become rich before they become rich in their head. And that's what Jim Rohn says. He says, you need to get rich in your head first before you can get rich in your pocket.
But that's the same as celebrities.
So you have all this money in your hand, and then you don't have the right mind. You don't know how to deal with all this.
Yeah.
Adrianne, I tell you from experience, you have to have a different mindset to wake up in the morning and see your account from 1.2 million pounds is gone to 200,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Or suddenly from 200,000 pounds going up to 2 million pounds. That's a different mindset. Totally different to somebody who's making 20,000 pounds. Oh my God, I lost 2 pounds. Oh my God, I bought. I don't know. Do you understand my point? So
totally.
There's a lot of self-development when you are on the journey. And my journey of success has been very painful. Do you know why? Every mentor I had, they kept comparing me to journey of life to driving. My pain was because I was a driving instructor. I was teaching the same stuff to people, but I find it very difficult to accept the fact I had to do it myself, not just tell other people.
Yeah.
My mentor kept saying to me, Ali, this is like driving. I said, stop saying to me about driving. I know.
The worst analogy for you, that one.
Yeah, because I literally teach it. I tell people, look, you can't go faster. You can't get to the destination faster. You got to plan your journey. You're going to do all this stuff. You know, you got to do the learning. Otherwise, you're going to crash. It's life, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. And getting really clear on where you want to go. You know, you can't just put in the sat nav, just take me somewhere.
You get lost.
Or people say, I'll go with the flow. And actually, that's one of the worst things people can do is go with the flow. Because
oh my God, don't please.
all very well being
go with the
flexible.
Go with the flow. Let me explain. Give you one example. Go with the. She said, "What does go with the flow means?" It's basically like you jump in the ocean and you let the water take you wherever it wants. That water is not gonna bring you to the beach. It might take you on the middle.
Why would you want to do that?
You're literally gonna end up where you don't even know where it is. You're gonna end up in a destination where you don't know where it is.
And it's also letting outside circumstances.
Most people do that.
That's what you do.
It's outside. I used to say it years ago. You know, I'll just go with the flow. No, let's not go with the flow. Let's have a purpose.
But the thing is, Adrianne, is much more easier to go with the flow.
Well, it's very easy mentally.
Yeah, very easy. You
don't need to think. You don't need to think or do anything.
Exactly. You don't need to do learning. You don't need to plan. Yeah. Nothing. Just wake up and go with the flow. Let's have some hash and a smoke and let's go with the flow.
You give your power away. You give your power away totally. Whereas if you decide that you are the creator of your life, that's very powerful. Whereas if you decide every other outside circumstance is the creator of your life, that's not powerful at all. And you will
won't feel happy. You won't live happy as well, because every second you are blaming somebody.
Yeah.
Because it's always somebody who's shitting in your life.
Yeah.
Sorry for my language, but I'm so passionate about this. You know, I've been through this. Every time I expected someone to do something for me, they just shit in my life.
Yeah.
You know, I trusted somebody to help me to make my book. They just shit on my life, right? Took my money, ran off. I expected somebody to publish me on the newspaper, took my money, just run off. Yeah. Every time I have expectation, who's responsible? Me. Yeah. I gotta just own it, take ownership of it.
Yeah. And that's where the power is, actually, Ali. When you take responsibility for your own life, that's powerful. Whereas just saying, well, it was everybody else's fault and not my fault, that's not powerful. That's just going with the flow, where you end up aimless and washed up, basically. You wash up wherever you wash up.
You become a victim. You know, you're always complaining, you're always blaming. You know, nobody wants to be around somebody who's victim.
No.
You know, because being a victim is not powerful, is it?
Nope.
That's what I said in my book as well. I said, you know, you're going to read my book, you're going to see it. Yeah. From the victim level, you need to move to the manifestation level, which is taking the ownership of the problem. Say, look, I have this problem. I'm not going to point finger at anybody. The buck stop at me. That's what I did. I said, listen, no point of me saying my whole family is poor. I need to say it stops here.
Yes.
I'm going to make some changes. And I'm going to make sure people after me, they're going to have money. So I took responsibility, and I think my grandchildren, they are very lucky. Somebody took responsibility in between here.
Yeah.
Somebody had to do it.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful, but lots of families and lots of people don't. They just go with the flow. So if anyone out there is listening to us and going with the flow and thinking that's a good plan, stop it. Stop going with the flow. Decide what you want. Choose where you go. And when outside influences come in, because they do for all of us, decide what you are going to allow to affect your life and what you're not. You know, I was talking to someone today and he said, well, this person expects me to do this and they expect me to do this. And I said, you've got a really powerful tool in your armory. You can say no. Well, I can't, because I'll feel guilty then. I'm like, why will you feel guilty? Because they want me to do that. But you don't have to do it. It's a choice to feel guilty. It's a choice to do something you don't want to do. So choose.
But it's hard though, Adrianne. Do you agree? It's very hard to say no, because as a driving instructor, I was working like 13, 14 hours a day, not because I needed money. It's because I couldn't say no to people. I couldn't say no to money. The first thing I had to learn was to say more no.
It's a trap. Not being able to say no because you want to help other people is a trap, actually, because the only person who loses out is you.
It's you. And you know Warren Buffett, what he says, if you want to be successful in investing, 99.9% of the time, you have to say no.
Yeah. Yes.
Whenever you say yes to something, it has to be so attractive, so beautiful, so sweet, which is you literally can't, take it has to be the purple elephant. And then you say yes. And it's very hard to find that purple elephant. I learned to say more no.
I read lots of books, as you know, and I've just listened to a book when I've been driving on some journeys about negotiation. And in sales techniques, people are always taught to get to the yes. You've got to get people to say yes. You've got to get people to say yes. And actually, the best thing you can do is to get people to say no first when you're negotiating, because people want to say no naturally, but they're scared of saying no. So once they've said no to something, ask a
then
question.
you know what you are dealing with.
Then you know what you're dealing with, and then you can move on from that. And the person feels back in control because they've said no. So actually getting to the no before you get to the yes is actually much more powerful.
Absolutely.
Because people then feel in control. So I love David's comment. Swimming against the tides is hard, but you know where you want to go. You know, we do have to swim against the tide sometimes. You know, it could be family, it could be people around us, it could be the circumstances, but it's about making a choice of what you allow to derail you, if anything. You know, you might get a family emergency that you have to go and deal with, but then you might get another emergency that, you know, and these emergencies can go on. At some point, you've got to say, where is my boundary? Is this derailing me, or is this actually, can I go and deal with that emergency after I've done what I've said I'm going to do?
Prioritizing, you know, what's, you know, the timing everything. And that's one of the reasons why, Adrianne, I said at the beginning, it's very difficult to live with somebody like me.
Yes. Yeah.
Why? Because I am 24/7 swimming against the tide.
Yeah.
And that makes it very difficult, because whoever is with me, like my wife, she's looking at everybody else and she's seeing everybody going that way. Why is he going this way?
Yeah.
It's because I found success in going against the tide.
Yes.
And when you taste the fish which you are eating when you are going against the tide, is much more tastier than eating with the tide.
And you know what you want. You're really clear on what you want, Ali. You're very, very clear. Like, there's not many people I know that are as clear as you are on what you want. So I know that does make it hard for you, Kuldeep, at times.
Very hard, because look, in 2002, Adrianne, there's a reason, because I've been through a struggle. Many people, they grow up in a rich house, right? They had a house. I grew up in a normal house, right? My mom and my dad, both of them working. My mom was a primary school teacher, and she had to retire very early, right? So when I came here in this country, I was homeless. I had no money, no roof over my head. I had to make the decision. I made this decision. I am never ever gonna struggle financially. So I literally made it my mission for the next 20 years to achieve financial freedom.
Yeah.
So that is literally, anybody ask me, Ali, what do you want? Our money.
I think the reason why you was more appreciated is because when you came here, you actually saw how other people live their life in a different country, and because you wasn't born here, and I think that gave you more of a drive, because you know you've come to a country where you can achieve.
There's so much opportunity in this country.
So much opportunity, and I think you just jumped and you just started.
Absolutely, you know, if you come from a different country here, you see all the opportunities. But when you are living here, you
don't appreciate it.
Sometimes I feel like people who they live in this country, they don't appreciate. They really don't deserve to be in this country, seriously, because they don't appreciate what they have here.
Yeah, and there's opportunities everywhere. Everywhere. If you train your mind to look for them. Train your mind to look for the opportunities, not the challenges.
Absolutely.
The challenges will come anyway. Train your mind to look for the opportunities.
Oh my God. You know what? I hate you, Adrianne, because you always find the subject to get me on fire. And this is one of those subjects. I am so passionate about this. Like, you can tell the way I'm talking, like I'm talking from my heart out of this. This is not from a book, or I read this book. It is literally going through hell. You know, I'm coming out from the other side.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Adrianne. If you want to summarize something, we got about 1 minute, because we want to upload this to a few different places. We can't go more than 30 minutes. So summarize something, and please, you know, if you need help, reach out, DM us. If you are a coach, if you have a qualification, join us. You know, we have people reaching out to us and they're asking us for help, so we can recommend you to them. You know, and also if you want to be trained to be coach, one of our coaches, you know, you can go through the Mind to Wealth program. Me and Adrianne, you know, we're running programs, we're teaching people how to become our coaches, and then also we find job for you, so you can actually work with us after. You know, so let us know, you know, PM me, and then we can sit down and have a chat. Adrianne, if you want to summarize everything we talked about here.
So in 3 top tips: develop some resilience, which is bounce back quickly when you have challenges and upsets. Number 2, know what you want. Focus on what you want and decide what you want. And number 3, make a choice. You know, when stuff comes at you, make a choice to keep going after what you want, because it will be difficult. It's not always going to be plain sailing. There is no magic button, but there is a lot of personal development that will help you get there.
Absolutely. And on that bombshell, you got it. I get it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you.